Oh, hey guys! Sorry, I'm just enjoying my ube latte with boba in here. Looking around, your first question for me is, well, why the purple? Easy. It's my favorite color, and I'm a Sagittarius, so I am embracing this powerful violet, ube, twilight, amethyst, lilac, lavender, whatever you call purple colors. Speaking of which, it's about time I do an updated Q&A since my last one was over 5 years ago. Back in 2020, when COPA was rampant and COVID kept us under lockdown, and when I finally showed my face to you all. But as you can imagine, in this half-decade, a lot has changed about me since then. Or maybe not, some things may have stayed the same. A while ago, I made this community post asking you guys to leave your questions that you have for me, and I also did the same thing on my Instagram story, and I'll be answering as many as I can. Some of you guys were also so sweet to ask some of the cast and crew questions, and there are a lot of LPS crew members in this Puppy Lover 863 studio, so that means only Daisy, Justin, Layla, and Phineas will be able to answer the questions to save time. Please keep in mind that I may not be able to respond to everyone's questions, but I will try my best to get through as many as I can. What helped you grow your channel? As someone who watched your videos growing up, I'd love to know so I could as well. It's hard to say what one thing helped me grow my channel. There were a couple of videos here and there that blew up, and I think that helped gain some traction, but keep in mind this was back in the early 2010s and the algorithm was a lot different back then than it is today. Back then I think it was a lot easier to get videos out there in the recommended feed, but now there's so many creators posting and the algorithm is not in favor of what we do always, so it can be hard. Put simply, I think what helped my channel grow was experimenting with different niches, different topics, and continuing to make the videos that I think helped gain a lot of traction, that I enjoyed doing and that other people definitely enjoyed. Once I observed a pattern where more people, for example, loved watching #Daras, I mean, the first episode literally blew up overnight, I decided to continue with that series. Without sounding rude, do you ever feel silly while recording or editing? Don't worry, that's not a rude question. Yeah, sometimes I do feel a bit silly while recording or editing, especially when recording. Sometimes I'll mix up lines and flub my words, like I'll stammer or use filler words like or like a lot. Sometimes I get these nagging thoughts that the neighbors by my window are watching me or can hear me scream out loud, and I feel a little silly like that. And when editing, sometimes I do feel a bit silly listening to my voice playback, like when I'm winding a clip backwards or seeing how far my range of voice can go. I think that's pretty normal though, feeling secondhand embarrassment hearing our own voice. Do you have any actual dogs? First of all, I love your profile picture. Second of all, I did used to have one dog, a miniature poodle named Scotty. Sadly, he passed away in May of 2024 due to old age, but he had a happy life. He lived a good long 17 years, and who knows, maybe I'll find a new furry friend in the near future. Fingers crossed that we can make that happen. All right, now this is the number one asked question I get a lot, and I think it's very valid to answer now. Do you plan on finishing Royal Secrets, or when is the next episode of Royal Secrets coming out? And I hear you guys, I see you guys, and you are completely valid because as of the recording of this video, it has been over 2 years since I last worked on Royal Secrets. And the reason why there's been such a big gap in uploading is because after my last 2 episodes of Royal Secrets got flagged by COPPA, I think that just killed the motivation I had to make this series. I spent hours, days, weeks putting together this set, especially the last episode. The outdoor set I created was super complicated. For it to just get flagged down by COPPA as made for kids, it broke my heart a bit. I spent an agonizing amount of time trying to figure out how to finish the series, as well as how to overcome this brutal algorithm. And with that in mind, I decided that maybe if we're gonna finish Royal Secrets and it still gets flagged, we're gonna finish with a bang. And for that reason, I'm planning on hosting a casting call later this year or in January, so I can get some new voices for the characters that you know and love. I'll still be voicing some of the main characters, but not all of them. Now, it's hard to give a definitive release date, As of right now, the script for the next episode is, I would say, about 70-80% finished. Maybe I'll get some beta readers on to help me with the script to make things move along faster. And once I wrap up the casting call, I can finally begin filming the actual episode. I also was working with another LPS creator on a commission for Royal Secrets, though I'm not going to give details on what this commission is about. It's a surprise. So, do I plan on finishing Royal Secrets? Yes. When is the next episode coming out? Hopefully 2026. And once I find new voices via a casting call. Have your feelings about making videos changed over the years? Have things gotten easier? Or do you find yourself in more of a challenge each time? My feelings have changed in the sense of wanting to, I guess, improve and showcase my skill sets as a filmmaker. I want to challenge myself more as a creator, but at the same time, I don't want to leave you guys hanging and keep you waiting for videos, which then parlays into the second part of the question, whether things have gotten easier or more challenging. And I will say, it's gotten more challenging in the sense that I'm not a kid anymore. I have responsibilities. I have a social life. I have other things in store for me. It was school back then, and more recently it was college, it was work, and now that I'm in my late 20s as opposed to my teen years, things have gotten complicated. Life is getting more complicated. And whether that's dealing with mental health or adult responsibilities, it can sometimes stunt the motivation or confidence to continue doing these videos. And it can be challenging, and even just where I'm sitting right now, I feel like I've reached the age where I'm just like hunched over my desk, and I don't think that's good for my posture. Someone else asked a very similar question, asking, have you ever thought about quitting YouTube? Or do you think you will sometime in the future? There have been moments where the thought of quitting LPS Tube or YouTube in general has crossed my mind. The reality is, we all have one life. Things have a start, things have an end. Quitting YouTube and social media may be inevitable, but I don't see that happening in this very moment in time. I may in the future. Maybe it'll start with just quitting LPS Tube and creating other types of videos, who knows? I'll do my best to stay as long as I can, create as much as I can, but yeah, that could inevitably happen in the future, just not right now. The next questions have to do with my college experiences. Did I graduate? Am I going to pursue any degrees? What are my goals, etc.? So for the first question, did I graduate? Yes, I graduated with a bachelor's in psychology as well as a Master of Science. The most recent program I graduated was in 2022, so I've been out of school for a few years now. I have considered going for a PhD in psychology, which is where you get your doctoral degree. I could become Dr. Daisy at that rate. For people that pursue psychology, it's a no-brainer that you have to get more than a bachelor's degree, at least a master's, if you want a higher chance of getting hired. So I looked into a master's program that had an accelerated line of work, meaning that it only took me 1 year to complete, which was ideal for my situation. And I've had a couple of jobs here and there that I've absolutely loved, but as you know, the market is not the greatest in terms of job seeking. And this is why I've circled back to the idea of getting a PhD in psychology. I love research. I love working with people and understanding the human mind. And I want that passion to continue with wherever my career takes me. But for those of you in college or are getting ready to go to a college, I would just like to say that your degree does not equate to your career most of the time. I mean, there are some jobs that would absolutely require a degree, like in the medical field, but what most companies and jobs value these days are hands-on experience. And sometimes the major that you apply for, that you're interested in initially, may not reflect the job or interest that you have later on in life, and that's okay. The world is constantly changing, and we're in a revolutionary period where we have to adapt our skill sets to what companies or people that are looking to hire value in us. The bottom line is, it's okay if your career path decides to deviate from the educational path that was set for you in the beginning. What LPS tubers are you watching currently? Oh my gosh, there's a lot of awesome creators out there. It's hard to narrow it down to a few. Like LPS Louise, she's working on her series called Masks. LPS Akari, who you may know formerly as Collie Pops. She's been uploading a lot of customizing and reviews recently. And shouting out one of the more underrated creators, Poppy's Pet Shops. She created this 5-part series called Camping Diaries, and the vibes are so calm and wholesome and are reminiscent of old school LPS Tube. She's currently working on her next 5-part movie series titled Apricity. I watched the first part and it is so nostalgic, and the sets and script writing are just beautiful. What are your opinions of the Basic Fun LPS? Do you think they hold up, or do you prefer G2? My take on the Basic Fun LPS... oh! What do you know? There's one right behind me. Well, since we have this product here right now, I might as well unbox it on camera and give you my opinion of this G7 LPS in real time. A big thank you to Littlest Pet Shop for sponsoring this video and sending me one of these for Sweet and Stylish set. So I actually already have this one that I found in stores myself. You may recognize the purple accessories that were in Daisy's set, like the phone, the donut, and the boba. But today we are going on the opposite end of the color spectrum and opening this dachshund with all its yellow accessories. Alright, I finally managed to get the LPS and the accessories out of the box. I think she looks pretty cute. There are some noticeable smudges in the marking paint, very similar to the black dachshund that we got earlier this year. Her eyeshadow is actually not that bad. It's pretty cute. It complements her eyes. It's giving me Wicked energy. Let's turn her around a bit, and you can see she has a lot of transparent, polygonal, dotted markings. She definitely reminds me of the postcard pet dachshund from G2. She's definitely reminding me of that, combined with the blonde collie with the blonde eyeshadow. And just like the very first dachshund mold of G7, the peg is much more noticeable compared to, for example, Daisy. Daisy's mold is more notably different in that her head sinks into the bobble a bit, so you can't really tell unless I lift her head up like this. Like, you can see it's much deeper. And then this G7 mold, it's more visible. What's interesting is that if we look at the trading card, it shows you the concept of what she was supposed to look like. Her concept looks more reminiscent of the G2 molds, whereas the final product may look a lot different. It could be better, I'll be honest. I mean, the eyeshadow, I think, looks pretty nice. I don't know if that was screen printed or if that was painted on. I think at least some of the pros are the eyeshadow as well as the polygonal marking, but the airbrush paint could use a lot more work. Now let's take a closer look at some of the accessories. This set came with a little donut, a piece of cake, a yellow bone, and some, I assume is mango boba. I think out of the 4 food accessories, the donut, cake, and boba are my absolute favorites. The bone is pretty standard and we see it in a lot of sets, but things like the cake and the boba are relatively new and we haven't seen in previous generations of LPS as far as I'm aware. So I'm glad that Basic Fun included some accessories that is not only appealing to this current generation but as well as my generation. Like, I've been getting into boba a lot recently. The boba pearls could be a bit more symmetrical. It looks like they're little painted blots, and oh, what's this? There's like a little piece of glue, I assume. I don't know what that is, but other than that, I think presentation-wise, I'd give this an 8 out of 10. I mean, at least the other accessories look good, like these 3, for example. This set also came with a little teddy bear! This teddy bear mold is not something that I've personally seen. We have different teddy bear molds for G2, but this one is larger and it actually sits on its own upright. I think that's just so cute, and I haven't seen in previous generations. And oh my gosh, LPS has their own smartphone brand. I mean, smartphones are a part of our day-to-day now, so it makes sense that some of the newer sets would include this. And I have heard mixed reviews where sometimes the sticker is not as symmetrical to this block. Here's the back. But for the set that I got, I think they did a relatively good job. I'd give this like a 9.5 out of 10. Finally, the stylish part of the Sweet and Stylish set includes this pink skirt, yellow jeweled necklace, and yellow bow, which I have seen in a couple of other sets. So this will be very interesting. I think we'll know for sure how they hold up if we try them on our dachshund friend. So I'm actually gonna start out with the skirt. It's It's very flexible, which I love, because some of the skirts in previous generations, or like accessories in previous generations, are so stiff that you couldn't really fit them on most pets. So I appreciate that this one is flexible. Looks cute. Now for the necklace. Now one way I could do this is by detaching this little clip and then reattaching it once I have it around her neck, but I'm gonna try a little something unorthodox and just slide it up. Oh, probably should have put on the skirt after the necklace. Here it is. Yeah, so the necklace is a bit too big, but if this is someone's first time getting an LPS, like if there was like a younger child that was getting this is a good segue into getting their own LPS accessories. It's not my personal favorite. I don't think it holds up well for this particular mold, but it could probably fit on molds like the panda, the fox, the jaguar probably, I think. All right, got our skirt back on. Let's try on this bow. Okay, this is gonna be the tricky part because dachshund ears and elastics may not hold up as well. Oh, wow, okay. Actually, this looks a little lopsided. Let me fix that. Upside down. Okay, I think it looks all right. Oh no, wait, I had it the right way. Okay, so you have to pay attention because this is shaped like a little heart, so you want the heart to be right side up. Let's try her other ear. All right, so this is the best I could do with this bow, and it keeps falling off. I mean, I could try to do it horizontal. Can I do it horizontal? I cannot, unfortunately. Yeah, the problem with some of these sets is that they try to, at least because there's 4 different versions of the Sweet and Stylin' set. Keep in mind, this is just 1 out of the 4 pets that you can get in the Sweet and Stylish set. Like I said, I already have this indigo cat and tried the necklace on, and it worked out pretty okay. Probably this could work out better with the blue dog on the side and then maybe the crouching cat on the top, though I can't really add more commentary except from the promo pictures because I don't have either of them. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think in general these accessories are cute, and on paper, like on the concept art, they look awesome. The problem is accessories like the bow and the necklace, they measure it as a one-size-fits-all thing, when in reality some of these accessories don't fit the LPS that well. But overall, the accessories that I positioned on the right, I think hold up really well, not just for this specific LPS, but for any LPS, like the skirt fit, and you can just have the LPS interact with these. These two I feel like could use a bit more work. They look great on paper, and I think these would work better on certain molds than others, but applying a one-size-fits-all approach to an LPS who may not fit these accessories, it's just some constructive feedback that could be worked upon. Disclaimer, this is just my review and opinion of this particular product, this Sweet and Stylin' set, and may not apply to every single G7 LPS that's out there. I'm not generalizing all of G7 or any of the waves, but rather this is just a specific live reaction of this particular product. And if we cut it to past Daisy, she gives a more in-depth analysis and review of G7 as a whole and how they hold up. So stay tuned for that in just a moment. But once again, a big thank you to Littlest Pet Shop for sponsoring this video and sending me this set to review. And yeah, let's cut it back to the Q&A. It's been made clear that, Basic Fun LPS don't necessarily match G2. They do match in terms of looks and props and style, but I understand that manufacturing-wise, they look different. I mean, obviously, the plastic looks different, the accessories are different. For what we got for this next generation of LPS compared to G3 through G6, I think it's awesome that Basic Fun took our suggestions and feedback to heart and brought the brand back to its roots, the bobbly head boys that we all know and love. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not perfect, they could be better, but I would say 90% of the time Basic Fun LPS hold up really well. And yes, as a G2 collector myself, I do miss the glory days, but given the context of what resources are available, how to make them affordable, from a business standpoint, I understand that certain aspects of production need to be kept in mind, but I'm fortunate that we at least have the bauble, and the bauble continues to stay an integral part of the brand. How many LPS do you have? Too many to count. I'll do a head count before I release this video, and I'll put the number up here. Do you think LPS Tube should make a giant comeback now? I feel like in a way it has, but not limited to YouTube. LPS, since they've returned to stores, have seen a comeback, and we've seen a couple of fellow LPS pillars like Light Goes Roar, Lex's Lair, aka Go Green Girl, Eliza LPS, and many others return to the community in different ways, but I feel like it's changed in that we're not limiting ourselves to just YouTube. How do you feel about the LPS community currently? Is it what you thought you'd be like in 2025? And how much have things changed from when you first started? Oh boy, this is a lot of information. I'll do my best to break it down. I still have the same optimism and same love for it that I've had when I first started. It has changed in a lot of ways since the early days. I feel like compared to 2010, we have a lot more resources and tools and opportunities to grow than we did back in those days. At the time, we were just middle school youngins posting skits, and with LPS Popular coming to fruition, that inspired many of us to make videos of the like, take our creativity to the next level. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. 12-year-old me could not have imagined the community turning out the way it did right now, expanding into what it is now, let alone even creating content this long. I think this year will mark exactly 15 years since I started my channel. And I've also seen my fair share of seeing the good, the bad, and the ugly side of the LPS community. That being said, I'm hope that the LPS community continues to be a safe space for people that need it, and that despite the challenges we go through, we can evolve and continue to support the growth of up-and-coming creators, old and new. Are you ever going to do a really big collab with many LPS tubers? I already have, in the form of award ceremonies. The LPS Tube Day award ceremonies are technically major collab videos that entail a small team of creative individuals and people that co-host the show and people that submit clips when they win awards. So I have already done really big collabs with many LPS tubers, but I guess maybe your question is, besides the awards, am I planning on doing large collabs? And truth be told, I'm not entirely sure yet. I do know for sure that Royal Secrets, like I mentioned, is planning to have a casting call, so we'll have a small team of creatives lending their voices, and maybe I'll have some beta readers for the script. So in a way, you could call that a collab. What inspired your channel name, and also what inspired your mascot? My channel name was a spur-of-the-moment decision I made at the oh-so-innocent age of 12, thinking, haha, this could be a funny, silly username where I express my love of dogs, which I still do. And the numbers, well, this is before you were allowed to change username handles and every username had to be unique, so obviously Puppy Lover was taken, and I just added numbers to be unique. But I remember specifically wanting the numbers to end with 3, because it had such a nice ring to it. As for what inspired my mascot, I mean, Daisy, she was my first dachshund in my collection of this mold. And at the time, I was really into LPS Popular. And I didn't officially make her my mascot until maybe around 2012, 2013, when I had built a story and lore with her and the characters around her. She might not look like me IRL apart from our purple aesthetic and now she wears glasses, but she is an LPS that's meant a lot to me in my collection and in the stories that I've told, so I've just made her the face of my channel. Do you like to read books? And if so, what is your favorite book? Yes, I do, and I'm trying to rediscover my love for reading since high school and college tanked a lot of that energy when I was assigned readings, and especially readings that were in Old English or in jargon that I just had a hard time understanding. More recently, I've been reading a lot of non-fiction books, and I think a good way to rediscover that love for reading is picking the books that you're interested in regardless of genre. So a lot of the books are tying back to the things I'm interested in, like psychology, and I've also picked up a few memoirs. I just finished reading Malala's memoir, Finding Your Way, and it really resonated with me since I'm also around her age. And right now I'm currently reading Molly Burke's memoir. I heard a lot of good things about it, and I've been following her for years now, so it's interesting hearing her perspectives and experiences from her 20s. If you guys have any book recommendations for me once I finish this memoir, whether they're fiction or nonfiction, let me know in the comments. Was there a favorite LPS merch you got or wanted from the franchise? Oh boy, so I currently don't own as many obscure pieces of LPS merch, but there are a few that I've wanted that are still on my wish list. Recently, Hot Topic came out with stylish Littlest Pet Shop shirts that I have not been able to find in my size in stores or online, and I'm really sad about that. But a few old school pieces of merch that are on my wish list as well is the tackle toolbox people use when storing LPS and carrying them around for trade. And of course, being a sticker collector, I can't get enough of sticker sheets. What else? Ooh, I missed out on LPS Monopoly, both the game and the exclusive pets that came with it. That would have been such a good buy. Favorite TADC character? Okay, so for those of you that don't know, TADC is an acronym for The Amazing Digital Circus, which is my current hyperfixation and favorite animated show at the moment. It is a indie animated web series that you can watch on YouTube. And it's such a good show, but it's 13 plus, it's for teenagers and older adults, so I wouldn't recommend it for younger audiences. Hands down, my favorite character is a tie between Pomni and Ragatha. I just relate to them so much. And I low-key ship them kind of hard, even though I know there probably won't be any ships in the show, but, you know, one girl can dream. In fact, I love these two characters so much, I recently bought keychains of Pomni and Ragatha as a little birthday present for myself. There's also a limited edition Pomni go-kart plushie that I pre-ordered, and oh my gosh, it's the cutest thing ever! I love Pomni so much, I love her. Okay, I'm just gonna move on to the next question before I start making a whole video essay about Digital Circus. I love that show so much! Okay, let's move on. What is your favorite LPS you own in your collection? Daisy, hands down. She's my one and only favorite. I know I shouldn't play favorites, but Daisy, she is my number one, and she's the first I would save if the house ever burned down. What's something you're proudest of changing in the last few years? Do you mean something I've changed about myself or regarding my videos and content? Because I could try answering both. I think above all over the years, learning how to establish boundaries and protect my mental health, prioritize my mental health, has been a common thread that I've changed the last few years. When it comes to my channel and LPS, at least for the awards show, I'm so proud that I decided to assemble a small team to help out with different aspects of production. It taught me some important lessons on how to not only manage a team, but also how to communicate and establish timelines, holding myself accountable. It was a really fun experience, and these were skill sets I learned and acquired that I was able to carry over into other jobs that I would eventually have going forward. And especially in the last 5 years, one thing that I've learned about myself, and with this community in particular, is that I am a fighter. When Kappa emerged, there was a lot of uncertainty and fear and panic over what would happen to the community that we had built together over a decade at that point. And I immediately started doing research to see if we could find a way around it. And I am so proud of younger me for doing everything that she could to make sure that the efforts weren't in vain and that we could potentially save the community and find a way around these new rules. My content has definitely changed, and I've had to adjust to get around the Kappa restrictions. It's sad to say, and I wish things could go back to how they were, where we could just make videos for all ages, but unfortunately the AI bots don't see it that way. But, you know, we're trying. People are getting around through things like customizing videos, reviews, and even expanding the boundaries of storytelling. How do you do your lighting in films? Well, for a scene like this, I have 2 light sources, one ring light and one box light. I originally had 2 box lights, but one of them broke, so this ring light replaces it. The cool thing about more modern ring lights or box lights is that they have settings where you can change the tone of the lights, from warm to cool to neutral. Sometimes I'll use colored lights for dance scenes, like for example the disco ball, but sometimes lighting isn't enough, and if I'm not happy with the way the shots turned out, I'll go into my video editor and color correct the video clips I have. Okay, so that's all the questions for me. And now I'm gonna turn it over to some of the crew members, Daisy included, because you guys had some questions for the crew. Now, because we're short on time, I can only limit the answers to Daisy herself, Justin, Phineas, and Layla. What is each of the cast members' favorite food? Anything that has pasta in it. I love Italian pasta, I love ramen, I love soup. Oh, that's easy. I love all kinds of foods, except anything spicy. Because Layla has pranked me with spicy food one too many times. But other than that, I'm chill with just about anything. I have the biggest sweet tooth, so anything that's sweet. Donuts, cookies, boba, cake, candy, you name it. Wait a second. I think... Excuse me for just 1 second. I'm gonna devour all of these treats. I don't know. Pizza is usually my go-to as a meal, but I also like healthier stuff too, like cherries, bananas, pears, strawberries and pretzels. Are you just naming all the foods from Pac-Man? Can Justin do an awesome flip? Awesome flip? Say no more. You ready for this? 1, 2... Okay, forget that first take. I'm gonna try again. 1, 2... Nailed it! What is Justin's favorite song? My favorite song changes all the time, but at the moment it would have to be the end credits music of Amazing Digital Circus, because I love the funky beats, like that you can just walk around to, like do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It's so catchy. Daisy made me watch Amazing Digital Circus the other day, and I'm a little obsessed. Which hand is each main cast member's dominant hand? Right-handed. Yeah. Nothing special. You shut your mouth! You are something special, Daisy! Don't let them forget that! Oh, by the way, I am also right-handed. That was a strong reaction, Justin. I'm ambidextrous. I use my left and right paws interchangeably. Thanks to all the dares that we've done over the years, I have gotten quite skilled at both. I'm ambidextrous as well, though I tend to favor my right paw over my left. How long has Daisy and Justin been married for? This is a question we get asked a lot. Yeah, even in our latest video, we got comments saying, wait, Justin and Daisy are married? Yes, we are. We've been married for, I'd say, 4 years. 4.5 as of the release of this video. We'll be 5 years married on May 10th. Yeah, that's right. We got engaged and wed on LPS Tube Day. And for many more years to come. Aww. If you watch the 2020 awards ceremony and skip to the end, you can see our engagement. And if you skip to the end of the 2021 awards show, that was our wedding day. Though we also have an uncut version of our wedding if you want to see that. To all the crew, what's your favorite movie and why? Again, this is something that changes a lot, but at the moment, K-Pop Demon Hunters has been my all-time favorite film for 2025. The stories, the songs, the cultural representation, just the visual effects, Sony blew it out of the water. I mean, how do you expect me to watch the movie and not try to belt out the high notes for Golden? You know, together we're glowing, gonna be golden. Oh, Daisy, you stole my answer! Fine, I'll pick something different. Okay, well, I can say that my comfort film that I like to go back to is Forrest Gump. It's so wholesome and just the main character just overcoming what people perceive as weakness and turns it into strength throughout his entire life is just so inspiring. Also, seeing Tom Hanks in such a classic 90s film is such a treasure. Good question. I think it's a tie between 2 movies. The first being the Barbie movie. I know that sounds so cliche, but think about it. It suits our brand, you know, we're plastic animals, not plastic humans, but I think this fits. Also, not to mention the themes of existentialism and feminism, I think those are just so inspiring. Besides that, my second favorite film, which is also my comfort film, is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. My love for sugar knows no bounds, and if the Chocolate Factory were real, I would try to find a way to obtain that golden ticket and just devour everything on sight. Sorry, am I drooling? Oh, well, my favorite movie, let me guess, is Wreck-It Ralph. No, Justin. Before I was so rudely interrupted, it is not Wreck-It Ralph. It's my second favorite. My favorite would have to be the underrated classic sci-fi action thriller film known as Pixel. Oh yeah, because Pac-Man is in it. Shut up, dude! Oh, geez. Okay, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted their questions. And again, I'm sorry if we didn't get to yours, but there wasn't a lot of time. Oh, I should probably get going to break up that argument. All right, well, thanks for watching, everybody. I love you guys. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video. Guys, you're ruining the set. Calm down. Break it up. Break it up, YouTube.